What's going on, everyone? And welcome back to another great epic episode of Just My Opinion Reviews, Oscar 2024 edition. Guys, we are talking Killers of the Flower Moon, which was nominated for a number of awards this 96 Academy Awards, one of them being Best Picture, being directed by the legendary Mr. Martin Scorsese. What is this film about? When oil is discovered in 1920s Oklahoma under Osage Nation land, the Osage people are murdered one by one until the FBI steps in to unravel the mystery. Guys, I also want to let you know that this is going to be a spoiler filled recap review. Me and my guest right here, we're going to spoil this thing up, down, left, right, in, and out as if you've already seen it. That is your warning. And like I said, I'm not by myself. I got my homeboy Chris Take from the East Side. What's going on, Chris? How you doing out there?
What's good? What's good? I'm grooving. We ready to talk about these Oscar movies. I'm happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming, man. I really do appreciate it. When I reached out to you, I was like, hey, Chris, it's that time again, man. We did this last year, talked about Banshees of Inisherin. Are there any films that you want to talk about right off the top? You said Killers of the Flower Moon, so I can imagine that you have a number of things to say about this, possibly positive. But we're going to find out because I have no idea. But before we get into all that, guys, this is Chris with Takes Take. He's killing it right now for the Love Is Blind series on Netflix. I mean, it's crazy. I'm so far behind. But if you
Yeah.
love what me and this gentleman has to say, you can follow us on social media. His information will be in the description box of this video. And also give him a subscription on this channel. Help him get to that next milestone of 30,000 subscribers. He just passed 20K. So that's what's up right
Big
there.
deal,
Now,
big deal, big deal.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Also, I did do a non-spoilery review for this film on my channel. So if you guys want to go check that out, you can. I did this when the film first came out. Also have reviews for Oppenheimer, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, and The Holdovers. And there's going to be other films that were nominated for Best Picture as well that I'm going to be talking about on my channel. So subscribe for all that. But I want to pass to you, Chris. I heard about this. Well, before I pass to you, I heard about this film a little bit before it was even announced that it was coming out, and that Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio was attached. You know, all legends in the
Mhm.
Hollywood game. Because I was introduced to the book a number of years ago. I still haven't read the book. I own it. It was gifted to me. But I heard, I was like, man, this is crazy. Just these evil people taking advantage of this Osage nation in Oklahoma, and the FBI investigated. This is a story that needs to be told. So I was smiling ear to ear when I heard that when I heard it was announced and it was coming out, and you had all these talented people attached to it. And you know, of course, there's criticisms from all across the land. Some good, some bad. Some really did like the film. Some wished that it came. You know, they wish that the film and the material was presented from a different perspective. You know, because when we see this film, it's from the lens of Ernest and William Burkhart, the evil people. But some was like, this should have been told from the perspective of the Osage people. But I just want to throw that out there. But passing it to you, I still have no idea how you felt about this film. If it met your expectations, if it fell below, if you loved this film, if you hated it, like, you know, why did you want to, why out of all the movies, why did you want to talk about this one? So let us know, let me know. I'm real curious, man. How did you feel about this film overall?
Yeah, there's a lot of good movies this year in that list. So when you gave me the best picture, I guess options, it wasn't like I had a easy choice. This was not my favorite of those movies, but
Mhm.
this was the one I found most interesting. I like the true story of it. I never heard this story, growing up or anything like that, or in school or anything. So when I saw the movie, number one, I had no expectations because I didn't read the book, obviously, and my boss is a big fan of the book, so she kind of put the movie on my radar. Fun fact, I don't know if you knew this, but it was like the highest book auction ever in history. Like
Really?
to become a movie, like getting the rights to that book to make this film was the highest. I think it was like $5 million.
Wow.
So I was just interested to learn about the story, and of course the cast just sells itself. But I was like, oh, this is real. Let's see what's up with it. But then to talk briefly about your point about the script, you probably already know this too, but Scorsese wrote this script with some other dude, I don't even know who it was, for like 2 years. And they had it from the perspective of the FBI agent, because the book is basically like the birth of the FBI.
Correct, correct.
Leo DiCaprio was supposed to play, what's my FBI dude's name? Um, the main guy in the movie. He's in everything now. I think he's in Civil War too. That character that comes in as from the bureau. Yeah, let's see, who's my man, Jesse. So yeah, he was supposed to play the character of Jesse.
Tom White, gotcha.
When Leo read the script, he said, I don't know that this story has any heart, because I don't think it's important to talk about the FBI's perspective. I think
Right.
it could be told more from the Osage perspective. So like people do criticize it, saying that it should be told from the Osage perspective, but Scorsese rewrote the whole thing to make it more from their perspective, and you do see a lot of their story. But there's always room for critique and for criticism, for people. You can always do more. But he said he met with, like Martin said, met with like 200 people from that culture before
Yeah.
he made the movie. So you can't please everybody, but I
Right.
think
Right.
that for like an old white dude, he did like a decent amount of due diligence before he make this. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's where I'm at from like the overview.
Right, right, right. I feel you, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. And you're right. You can't please everybody. One of
Yeah.
the things that did turn me off a bit before I saw it the first time is that runtime at 3 hours and 26
Sheesh.
minutes. I
Yeah.
would have said to myself, my goodness gracious, like, is it really that necessary to tell, have a film that's long? I don't think so. And Martin Scorsese is known for that. So a lot of his other films are that long, and I haven't seen all of his films. I think The Irishman is that long as well. Yeah, it is three
Yeah.
hours
3.5.
and 29 minutes, and that one missed me. I didn't get a chance to see that one right there.
Miss me too.
Uh, do you think that this movie needed to be that long? And but actually, before you answer, I will say that it honestly didn't drag for me. I saw this in the theater. The pacing was decent. I still wish it was just shorter, because you want to be comfortable. But I wasn't looking at my watch like, oh my goodness gracious, can we please hurry up and get to the end? I will say
Yeah.
for a 3 hour and 26 minute movie, it does flow quite well. And so that does just show how great that Martin Scorsese can be directing the film and editing the film and putting it together in post. And so he deserves some credit there. But do you
Did I lose you? I think you were asking me about the runtime, and I would say let's see if you can jump back in. But I think that I think I'm very sensitive to runtimes. I think some people maybe don't care, but I am very sensitive to runtime, and I think it's just a lot of it is people in our industry, because we have to watch so many movies. It's like we can't be just sitting in the theater for so long that the movie's not hitting. But for 3.5 hours, I can 100% agree with you that I did not feel like that at all. Like it's obviously a long movie and you kind of feel like some part of that, but at the end I was good. It felt like a 2.5 hour movie. In comparison, the movie Napoleon is maybe an hour shorter and
Yeah,
feels longer than this
yeah,
movie.
100.
So I thought, I don't know how he did it. And he's like, he's mad at people who complain about the runtime, because he's like, y'all sit down and watch Netflix for 5 hours, da da da. Which he's not wrong.
Right, right.
But I thought that he did some magic with the runtime. Did it need to be? Yeah, I think so, because they're telling a story. There's always more to unpack. You don't want to like rush through something like this. So
I agree.
I get why it's that long, and he's old school, so he's
Yeah,
here for
yeah,
the
yeah.
runtimes.
It's not the end of the world, and I do appreciate the little tidbits of history that he did throw in here,
Yeah,
like the Tulsa Massacre. He didn't have to do that. They
yeah,
were watching this film in theaters in black and white, I believe. But I wish I heard that story when I was a young boy. I didn't hear about
yeah,
that till I was in my mid to upper 20s, and that's
yeah,
a darn shame. So he threw that in there. So I do appreciate that. But one of the main things I want to talk to you about, man, are these performances.
yeah,
Because when I see an Oscar film, or when I see a film, if it has to be considered for an Oscar, the bare minimum that it can be considered for best leading role, actress, supporting, male, female, or best picture, which this is nominated for. This is being nominated for actually 10
Yeah, 10.
different awards, and I kind of want to go through that with you just a little bit. Best achievement in motion music written for a motion picture, original score, original song, best motion picture of the year, best achievement in directing, best performance in an actress in a leading role. But one I want to talk to you about mostly is best performance by an actor in a supporting role by Robert Downey. Yeah, Robert. I was going to say
Holy
Robert Downey
moly. You getting that
Robert.
Oppenheimer. He
Yeah,
on the screen too. So I
yeah.
guess that's what's happening.
Robert De Niro, man,
Yeah.
he was damn good in this, man. But he was evil, man, just a straight demon from the depths of hell. Just something about his performance, man. He had no remorse at all. Would just look these people in their face and console with them and just say, "I love you and I care about you, and I'm going to go to the ends of the earth to find out who is committing all these murders." And he's the ringleader. He's the one
Yeah.
behind it. Something that's not 100% accurate in this film is that they made it seem like it was just a handful of people that was part of this conspiracy when it was in real life actually like hundreds of people, two to three
Yeah.
hundred people that were conspiring to steal all of this oil money. But he was despicable. I mean, I'm just my jaw hit the ground a number of times watching him in all of his nefarious ways. Um, I definitely feel like it's one of the better performances of the year. I want your opinion on that too. And do
Yeah.
you think that he should win, or do you think it should go to somebody else?
Well,
You know,
you putting me on the spot because I gotta see who he's going against, and I
okay,
don't know that.
okay,
But while
okay,
you load that, I can talk about his performance, and I think it's kind of like him and Leo. They're kind of at that point, as a sports reference. It's kind of like that LeBron territory where it's like we don't really appreciate what's happening because he's been doing it for so long and so great. Like LeBron just hit 40,000 points, and we're like, yeah, cool, that's great. But that's the most like that's it's just a crazy number that no one would have ever thought to happen. So like when you see Robert killing it in a role, we're like, yeah, I guess yeah, it was good. So it's like I don't want to get lost on that because he has so much, history of just doing this and killing this over and over. But I think he should be recognized because he really had me feeling like he was like that, in real life. And that's always a good sign of a performance. There's countless good performances in this, and I know we're gonna get to Leo and Lily, but oh man, Sterling. All right, yeah, yeah. All right, sorry. Yeah.
yeah, man.
I gotta give it to Sterling because that's crazy, bro. Like Robert, you got your flowers, man. Oh, that's a pun on the movie title, but yeah, Sterling, yeah, that's good. These are all fire. Mark is fire, Robert is fire, the other Robert is fire. Like this is probably got to be one of the toughest ones. I know it's gonna be tough for Lily and Emma too. We'll talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that, but this
yeah.
is a tough category.
Yeah, it is, man. I saw American Fiction. At the time of this recording, I need to watch it again before I do
Mhm.
my review for it, because we're filming this a while actually before the Oscars. Ryan Gosling, no disrespect, sir, but you definitely don't need to be on this list.
Yeah,
I,
he's the
I,
he's the easiest one out, but
yes,
that's not how the awards go. You just got to pick
right,
one. So like it's
right,
easy to
right.
get one out.
Right. And at the
Um,
time of this recording, I haven't seen Poor Things yet,
oh, that's
but
crazy.
I will have seen it before the Oscars comes. But
Knowing
Sterling,
you, I
Robert
don't
De
think that you
Niro, and
would
Robert
put
Downey
Mark
Jr.
over him, but
I'm
I think
sorry.
you would. I think knowing you, you wouldn't put Mark over Robert or maybe Sterling, but I think you will give it more respect because you are a Marvel head to see Bruce Banner acting in such a different way. So that's a little.
Okay,
We'll
okay.
see.
Ah, I don't know, man. And no disrespect to Sterling. Right now, I would have to say Robert Downey Jr. has it with Oppenheimer, and then
Yeah.
Robert De Niro is coming in second place. Sterling K. Brown coming in third place. Of course, I want to root for my people now. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
I
Sterling, and
don't
of
want to be
course, it's a
biased
smaller
either.
thing. It's like it's Sterling's not in the movie so crazy as much as Robert De Niro is. So that's one thing. But you got to give the up and comers some the rising stars some shine. What would you put for Robert Downey Jr. Oppenheimer versus Killers of the Flower Moon? Like those two performances of the two Roberts. How much like what number are you giving? Downey Jr. versus De Niro. Like how close do you have them in your personal opinion?
Um, they're pretty close. But I would still give it to Robert because he was more
Can't
passionate
call
in
it
the role.
Robert.
Downey Jr.
Yeah.
I would still give it to Downey Jr. because he was just a bit more passionate in the role to me. and his his evil ways. Very
Mhm.
very sensitive man in that role in that film. Um, yeah, I just have to give it to Robert. He would just have more range to me in that film. While De Niro's performance was good, it was just a bit more relaxed, to me.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like Downey Jr. gave it more effort, a little bit more gravitas, just a bit more, just effort,
Yeah.
and I don't know, and like I said, I want Sterling K. Brown to win, but and I just rewatched this Killers of the Flower Moon recently, and yeah, both that and Oppenheimer, and I just got to give it to Downey Jr. But that's just me, guys. If you're watching this, if you agree or disagree, of course, let us know in the comment section. Lily Gladstone
Yeah.
for Best Supporting Actress in a leading role. I never seen her in anything else before. This is my first time seeing her in anything. If we want to just glance at her filmography, are you familiar with any of her previous roles? Or is it
Absolutely not, but I know
okay.
that that show, The Reservation Dogs, is very popular. I don't know how big she is in that show, but 2 episodes. So yeah, I didn't know anything about her, and now I do because
Yeah, yeah.
it was excellent.
It was excellent, man. She was pretty damn good, especially towards the end of the film when she was getting sick, in the hospital bed, asking, the different cast members on scene, "Are you real?" Seeing the owl and those images of her with her Osage Nation and their tribe, just saying, "Okay, when we see the owl, that just lets us know that our people are dying or we're about to die."
Yeah,
And it was just really, really sad. I don't like to. I don't. I mean, I will judge a character in a movie if it's fiction, but not if it's based on a true story. But it was still just unfortunate as far as her character in real life is concerned, that it just took her so long to realize that there was a banana in the tailpipe. That her husband was one of the ringleaders behind this. That was very very frustrating.
yeah,
But still, just if I'm just judging her performance, she did a hell of a good job. I felt really sorry for her. When her sister Rita was blown to smithereens, and Ernest can't. They're in the basement, and Ernest comes downstairs and just looks at her and shakes his head, and she's like,
hmm
"Oh!"
yeah,
and just starts screaming and crying. When her child Anna dies, she's just screaming and crying. When Lizzie, the mother, dies, when Anna dies. I mean, dude, when they found Anna and then they was chopping her body in half in front of her with all of these surrounding people, there's no time to grieve, no time to mourn, no time of privacy or anything. It's just right there out in the open, and they're treating her dead sister that's been beat and shot and ran through the mud and dirt just like a rag doll. I
yeah,
mean, she like fainted and fell in Ernest Leonardo DiCaprio's arms, and just she was completely weightless. I mean, that performance does deserve something, and she got a nomination, so it's well deserved, big
yeah,
time. She's competing against Annette Bening and Nyad, Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall, and she was good in that too.
yeah.
Carey Mulligan and Maestro and Emma Stone and Poor Things. Again, I haven't seen Emma Stone. I haven't seen Poor Things yet. Have you seen any of these besides Killers of the Flower Moon?
I only have not seen Naiad.
Okay. Okay. How are you feeling about her chances to win this award right here? If you
Yeah,
have
she
Killers
has
of the
great
Flower
chances. I'm kind of opposite of you in the movie though. Like I prefer her performance in the beginning. Like I
Moon?
didn't like to see her sick like that because I'm like, damn, like because my whole thing was like when you talk about like minorities, like black people or like indigenous people, the world has historically seen us as less than, like not smart, and showing her from the beginning, and they kind of highlight on how like the Osage people don't talk as much; they're just more observant. And
Mhm.
when every time she's on the camera, like, and especially when you're like meeting her and learning about her, it's like she's saying smart things. She's watching Leo's character Ernest. She's like in control, and it's like, oh yeah, these people were not dumb. Like these people were super smart, and they were they earned them the oil and the land that it was on. But white people thought that they couldn't even handle their money or their oil, so they
Right.
had people who were like those guardians. So I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, these people are smarter than y'all, and y'all got them with supervisors. Like this
That
is
was
like
very
chaperones.
specific. Yeah.
So I loved her character, and seeing it back when it was out in the theaters, I was able to avoid all like the Oscar buzz and all that because back then no one, it was new. So seeing it now, you're looking for her to perform well. But I walked out of there like, yo, whoever that Lily Gladstone girl was, like she was fired. Like so, I feel like vindicated. Back to the list of the people. The yeah, okay. Lily Gladstone has a great chance to win this. I think she just won this award at the Screen Actors Guild.
Mhm.
Sandra Hüller is fire in that movie. That movie is
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
Carrie Mulligan is fire in that movie, and that movie is not great. Like she is the only thing good about that movie. So it's
I've
like,
second time hearing that, but keep going.
yeah, that movie is a you need to be rested. And Emma Stone, I don't have no problem with her winning that award. Emma Stone's performance is so fire. But the Emma Stone Lily Gladstone matchup is like crazy, and it's probably any other year Lily Gladstone runs away with this, but Emma is just really eating. But Lily Gladstone is doing something that's like actually like historically important and valuable. So it's like I don't know if they care about that. But as far as performances, like I would have to vote for Emma. But either of those two win, and it's a good day for entertainment.
I got you. I'm looking forward to seeing Emma Stone in Poor Things. I've heard a lot of positive things about her and the film, but I will be watching that tomorrow when I get off work. I have it all scheduled out and
You should
planned.
just skip work and just watch it.
I wish I could do that, but I gotta pay the bills and take care of responsibilities and all that good stuff. But you made a comment just a second ago, just saying how smart these people were, because early on in the film, I think within the first 45 minutes, they knew what was up. They knew that. I mean, they was having a conversation like at least four of the Indian women. This was before Minnie died, and they first showed her outside under a tent, and she was
Yeah.
really pale faced, but she was like, hey, looking at Ernest Burkhart, Leonardo's character, just saying, "Oh, he's only after your money," and at least one of them is maybe a bit naive, saying, "Well, no, his uncle William, he
Yeah.
has money. Ernest just wants money because he wants to be, settled." And somebody else was like, "Oh no, he really does love you." So I guess it was just a mixture of it. Let me backtrack. But
Yeah.
I do appreciate that they weren't just morons and just completely taken advantage of. I mean, they were. I mean, that's just
They
kind
were
of
just
more.
they were just trust like they were just like a victim of their own trust,
Yeah,
especially thinking that Robert's character was like like an ally to them, and he's selling it, so like that makes sense. And Lily Gladstone's character was like, yeah, I know he wants money, but he also wants love, so like everybody could
yeah,
win, so
yeah,
she
yeah.
was
Like,
like
who doesn't want
she
money?
was like she understood like this is, yeah, I get it, it happens.
Yeah, the only thing I can say, I don't even want to know if I want to say bad, but just not the best when it comes to acting or performances, was from the people in the tribe themselves. When they were in a group trying to solve the murders, like, we're going to hire a private investigator, or when they went to Washington, or when they went to Wood, or when Jesse Plemons came and it was like, are you here on your own accord, or because we went to Washington and paid $20,000? If this was 20 years ago when we was doing battle and war, we would have killed them ourselves. No shade to those people, but that was the only time it was a little bit cringeworthy to me. Like, how do you have all these other great performances, but this just seems so shallow and dry? Am I tripping, or do you feel somewhat the same?
I don't know that you're tripping, but I wasn't thinking that when I was watching it. So
Okay,
I mean, I think it's a fair take, and a lot of that stuff is historically accurate. But no, I don't know that you're tripping, but I didn't pick up on that when I was watching it.
I got you. Some other people that I wish I would have seen, just would have had a bit more screen time that popped up at the end, was Brendan Fraser and
Oh
John
yeah,
Lithgow. They're legends as well. I
yeah,
really did enjoy. I mean, he's screaming in the court, "I want to talk to my client," just all
yeah.
random at the end. And of course, he won best actor in the leading role for
The
was it
whale,
Whale? Was it called Whale last
the
year?
whale.
Yeah, incredible movie.
Hmm.
But when he popped up, I was thoroughly entertained. I liked it. And I was just like, man, we're at the 3 hour point right now.
Hmm.
This is really good. I want to see more of him. And so, Scorsese, bring him back, bring him back. Same thing with John Lithgow. He's great in everything. Also, shout out to Karen J. Myers, who played Anna. She was drunk, carrying that
The,
pistol around.
the
I
one with
really
the heat,
enjoyed
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. she was quite funny. But before we head out of here, Chris, like, is there any other standout moments or performances in this film that you want to get off your chest that just really, been that stood out to you?
Yeah, let me think. Let me think. Let me think. I think, man, like I love movies that just drag me down. Like, we like movies that we take with us home. We keep thinking about. We have good conversations about it. So, I took this movie and I ran down a rabbit hole like so crazy for like just the historical, pieces of it and just learning the story. So, I just think from a movie's perspective, when you could just do that and educate people, they say this movie cost 200 million and made like 150 million. So it's like also like in a deficit, but like sometimes you make $1 billion and nobody like the movie don't help the world. You know what I mean? So it's just like I find it impactful that Martin decided to take this movie on, and I just thought that the getting people that are like these big names to get behind it, came and brought their A game, and then you still have up and comers like Lily Gladstone, standing up in scenes with basically the Hall of Fame of acting. And when she's in the scene, is her scene. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of
Yeah.
like probably must be intimidating for her on set, but she's just out here doing her thing. So like I was just like very, very impressed with it.
I got you, man. Yeah, it says costing 200 million. This is the most expensive biographical film ever made, surpassing Martin Scorsese's The Irishman 2019, which cost 159 million. It also the most expensive R-rated film in the US. Other countries have different rating systems ever made, surpassing The Matrix 2021 that was at 190 million, and that's with a rated R a rating. Just another real quick, just a scene that stood out to me is when Rita and her husband were blown up. They found the
In that
body.
house?
Yeah, in
Oh
the
yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah,
She
yeah,
was
yeah.
laid down like this, and I was like, "Are they going to give her CPR and bring her back to life?" Because it was an overhead shot. But when his camera switched around and he picked up her body, her head was exploded, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, that was crazy, but effective.
Yes.
I appreciate the brutality, and the reason why I say that is it just goes to show the length that some people will go through in this world for money and greed and power, and they're just evil. And whether or not this story was told from the right perspective or not, I at the very least appreciate that it was being told and that it's
Yeah.
nominated for all of these 10 awards so that it can get some type of attention and teach people something that's not necessarily in the history books.
Yeah.
Uh,
One thing I liked about Lily Gladstone, she actually said before, I think before it came out, like, it's her job to promote movies. That's her job. But she was like, for people who, identify with the Osage community, people from that world, like, she's like, you can go watch this, and I encourage you to go watch this if you feel like you're ready to go, and if you go with people that you feel close to. So I was like, yo, I respect that because she's trying to make money and like sell tickets, but she was like, nah, like I want y'all to watch this if you're ready. So like I appreciated that, like from like just like a business standpoint. So
mhm.
shout out to her for that. And just overall, like I just hope people I know it got a lot of good views when it went to streaming, so hopefully people really catch on to it. But it's a time for education, man. Like is I think it's just a good movie to have and just to learn about historically. And I always say this, like people be trying to say that these kind of injustices were so long ago,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. So anytime we see movies with like Native Americans or like indigenous people, we're like, oh yeah, yeah, like that was mad long ago. Like, bro, like the dude Ernest Burkhart in real life died in the late 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like we lived on
I
Earth
was
at the
born,
same time.
yeah.
Like I got an iPhone 15
Yeah.
and I lived
Yeah.
at the same time as this dude. So like it's hard to put that in perspective because this dude fought in World War One.
Yeah.
So
Ernest.
it's
Yeah.
just it's just a crazy thing. And it's like, yeah, the justice system, it's like you have to watch these things to make sure that history doesn't repeat itself, at least just so we're educated. And things are getting better, but you just gotta know where you're coming from if you really want to like, really get
Very
to that
true.
next level.
And it's just sick because they said that he paid off politicians. He had a life sentence, but he got early parole. Like, oh, you have a great
Yeah.
record. This man is a monster. He's
Yeah.
the son of
And they
Hitler,
did
you know.
they did pay $20,000. Like you're like literally paying for justice. Not only that, like by the time the murders were like done, like or like when it was like the FBI came in, or back then it was called the Bureau of Investigation, like the oil was already dried up. So like these people are out here low-key getting killed for no reason.
Yeah. It's very, very sick. They're all turning on each other at the end, snitching on each other.
Yeah.
William Burkhart, Robert De Niro's character. He knows he's up a bind, so he set up that robbery so that they can die to get out. It was a very disgusting person. I can
Mhm.
talk another 45 minutes about this movie, but we're not. We're about to head out. Also, best costume design. That was decent. Best production design. I think that the best film editing is going to go to Oppenheimer. I think best
Yes.
cinematography will go to Oppenheimer. I
Mhm.
think best directing will go to Oppenheimer. I think best motion picture will go to Oppenheimer. And I think that best original score is going to go to Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer as well. I think Oppenheimer is going to sweep everything.
Yeah.
And so
I wish that was a hot
also,
take, but
just to let
that's
you
not.
know, guys, the Oscars is on Sunday, March the 10th, and that evening. However, the following Monday, March the 11th, at 6:30 p.m. CST, I will be going live for an Oscar recap 2024 96 Academy Awards, going over all the wins, all the losses, just talking about everything that happened at the Oscars. So the day after the Oscars, Monday, 6:30 p.m. CST, come through and we can chop it up about everything. And if we agree or disagree with whoever won or lost, and Chris, if you want to come through, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Check out my Oppenheimer review, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, and also The Holdovers. Also, if you have Hulu, Disney Plus, or FX, I am covering Shogun right now, episodes 1, episodes 2, and episode 3, and I also have a non-spoilery review for the first 10 episodes. It's a damn good show. Check that out as well. And Chris, before we head out of here, man, what you got going on your level channel for the good people to look forward to?
Look, man, we out here just wrapping up Love is Blind. So we got what is it, the finale today. And then, I'll talk some stuff next week about the reunion. I'm actually headed down to your home state. I don't know if it's your home state, but it's a state that you rep. I'm heading over to Austin for South by Southwest
Oh,
on
yes.
Friday. So I'll be, hopefully catching a lot of movies there. So look for a lot of stuff on the channel coming soon.
Already, man. So again, Chris, thank you for being here. And at the time of this recording, guys, I am at 49,816
Oh
subscribers.
man, we
Okay.
getting at 50.
Let's get to that 50, man. I'm
We
right
getting
there.
at 50.
Help me do that. Help me do that. But guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery. That's Chris, and that's just our opinion. Peace
Gang.
out. And we'll see you
Peace,
next.
y'all.